Hi, I am Kidger on Two Wheels, and today I am back at MJ Pivot to test drive the XMax 300s. So Yamaha has not one but two of these bikes. It's the 300s and the 400s. Let's try the 300s, okay? So this is a 300cc scooter, and I'm not really sure on the power, but it should be on screen, hopefully floating above the bike. So let's go do a quick front to back. So this has a 120 width tire with 15-inch rims at the front, a 140 tire with 14-inch rims at the rear, so it's scooter-sized tires. You've got a single disc brake with ABS. You have inverted suspension, but this is real suspension. This is not like the usual scooter suspension, which stops here. This actually comes all the way up to here, so it's a normal motorcycle suspension. You have your mud guards, integrated indicators, which I quite enjoy because they look pretty good. Full LED headlamps. You have your little windscreen, which I think is not adjustable. There's a couple of extra brackets here, so maybe it is adjustable, I'm not sure. I don't think this is actually adjustable. I'll ask. You have your scooter thingy, you have your dual place to put your feet here and here. Pillion foot pegs, which are fold away, and actually they're quite obvious here, they're not hidden, but they actually integrate quite nicely. You have your, it's not really big, but it's got a big cover for your exhaust. You have these dual shocks at the rear. I'm not really fond of these, but we'll see. I wasn't fond of these also on other bikes, and they just handled beautifully. You have obviously your drive for your scooter engine. This is not a chain drive, this is a perfectly regular scooter. And now the important part for scooters. Let's go check out the features, and this now might take a while. So as you can see, there's no place to put the key, because behind this unlockable cubbyhole you have the actual key, which is this. So as you can see, it's a keyless system. Okay, off, on. You stick it in here and you're ready to ride. This will be your main control for all of this. So it's off. This will open, or you turn right. Oh, this is to open, what's this? The seat? This? What does this open? Oh, it's to open the seat, which I press here and the seat opens, I think. I haven't been told, I'm discovering it, okay? So, one helmet, two helmets, and a jacket in between. That's a huge boot space, which is great. Notice that while this doesn't seem deep enough, there's holes here on the seat, so the helmets fit. I'm not sure how big of a helmet fits, but I think the front one fits a bigger helmet than the rear one. But you have two helmets and a jacket or some pants. Or for day-to-day, you put your helmet at the front, and here you can put your jacket and your pants. There's a lot of space here. You almost don't require a top case, which is good. And you can also press here for your lids, which is this one, this other cubby hole, which has a little 12 volts outlet here, which is nice. So you can actually put your cell phone there charging, and then it'll be locked away. More. And you have your fuel, which you turn here to the right. Here's the fuel. I like the way this just pops open like this. Let me check it out. Sorry, wife is calling. Hehe, cool. Okay, this dash is the first thing I don't quite like. As you can see, it's really hard to read if the sun's... Well, the sun isn't even behind me. It's straight down. What the hell? Come on. Well, let's see how this goes riding. You have your indicators and your horn. Beep. Non-adjustable levers. This is a 300cc bike for 6,400 euros, so it's about a bit cheaper than that one. Although it's a scooter, it's nothing comparable even. But there's so it's this is not adjustable. Again, this is the two brakes. Okay. And whatnot. Oh, this is not the starter, this is for the computer. Average 3.2 liters to 100 kilometers, that's quite low. Average speed, air temp, battery 12.5 volts, TCS. Oh, it's got traction control, cool. Okay, this is trip info. How do I change this? Where's the button to reset? I should have... No, this is for the hazards. Where's the button to reset this? How do... Oh, so there's another button here. This does the top one, and this does the above one, the bottom one. V-belt, odometer, trip 94 kilometers, trip time 20 hours. Okay, oil 94 kilometers, V-belt 1130, and the odometer. Cool, not that. So I'm going to put 3.2 liters of fuel and hope I ride 100 kilometers, which is not going to be true, but let's see. So the first ride this is very sensitive, very straight. I was expecting less power, and I actually was jolted quite more forward than I was wanting. Then again, I did come here on the KTM, so my brain is now tuned to 1 to 5 power. That's why I roll throttle way too much. Let's go. Slowly at first, as I don't know the bike. Oh, okay, that's enough. Okay, so the foot, not pegs, floorboards. So you have the forward floorboard, which is wide enough. Okay, I'm going to have to film this one. At least this is my first impression. This is an NC from the Netherlands. Cool, bro. So this is the normal position on the floorboard, and as you can see, my foot is hanging out. If I do it like this, my feet feel like they're bent inwards. So because there's a bump here, I don't quite enjoy that. That feels kind of silly. This could have been thinner, so your feet would be in a more natural position. Natural riding position, your feet will be hanging out the side of the bike, which is not that good, honestly. Then again, this is a very normal fault on scooters. I don't know why. They seem to think we have really thin feet. The other ones up here, well, I'm probably not used to it, but I think it's too high and too close to me. I would rather have them slightly behind like this and slightly lower like this. Here feels too high and too close to me. Then again, I have been riding this for a whole 2 minutes, so I'm not used to it. That guy came from the Netherlands. Awesome. On an NC, which is dirty as hell, so he went through everything he could. Mud, sand, whatever. That bike is disgusting, to be honest. So that's a proper traveler on an NC 700. But this is me because I'm not used to it, and I haven't ridden a scooter in I don't know how long. Other than that, let's go full throttle. This was full throttle. It's actually quite spiffy. It actually goes quite a lot faster than I was expecting. Brakes also quite nice. Although I'm still getting used to it, I'll have to tell you more about it in a jiffy. Oh, very nice. Nice to find side stand. This is very practical. I like it. So, first test, in-town commuting and poor pavement. I'll do one poor pavement test. I know this is very bumpy, and there's two types of bumps on this particular road, which is the small bumps for the cobblestones, and the whole cobblestones are very wavy. And this is about the poorest pavement you can find. And although you do jump around a bit, it is very, very nice. And although that's a huge bump, the front suspension is very nice. The rear one seems a bit stiffer. And I'm saying although it is very nice, that's because I'm comparing it with bikes that cost double. The V-Stroms, for example, which start at 8K instead of 6.5. This is, guess where the extra money goes. And etc. So to get better performance you need to pay a lot more for the bike, and this feels perfectly fine for in town. Also, it feels very nice riding slowly in town. I also quite enjoy the way, and I just noticed that both right side and left side lamps lit up, and it seems very visible from the front bike. A tighter bend with a dip in the middle, and I just scraped something. I think that was the center stand that just touched ground there. That's a big dip in the middle. That's why I came here, I know it. And you saw how relaxed I went over that. So far very good. Also, if you're coming in from 1 to 5, this is very easy. It does give you a bigger feel of a bigger bike. It's bigger than any 1 to 5. It feels bigger than any 1 to 5 out there, even the big 1 to 5 scooters, as you'd be expecting, but it doesn't feel too heavy. Now, what did scrape? Was it the center stands? I believe it's quite likely this. Yeah, the center stand for sure. I was actually checking if this had a center stand because I didn't notice. It does. And it goes fast enough that, for example, for this I didn't use full throttle, didn't feel the need to it. So yeah, it's that semi in between a 600cc and a 1 to 5. Surprise, surprise, it's a 300cc bike, so it's that in between. It's fast enough in town that you're using 80% throttle and not 100. And it leans well. Seems to handle very well. Here I want to go left. Look at how much I can lean this, and comfortably too. The suspension, and I'll have to talk to you about this after the test track, but on first impressions it feels like it's, I'm sorry I'm going slowly, but I'm trying to process this data. I can feel the bumps in the roads. It's not uncomfortable, I don't get jolted, okay, I'm not being hit by the bumps, I'm not being inconvenienced by the bumps and undulations in the roads, but at the same time I can feel them. I don't have that bad feel you get on some very soft suspension bikes, a bit like my Tracer 700, where this happens sometimes, where you don't really feel the road, it's too soft. And that's usually also the issue with most scooters, it's just too soft, so it's comfortable. And most city bikes, etc., it's just too soft and you don't quite feel the road. On this one you feel the roads, so you heard on my voice that bump in this one, but it's not uncomfortable, and that could be good suspension settings and a good seat. And let's see the ABS. Yeah, try to brake on the rear going down, it's not going to do much. Front brake just stop the bike. And that's a mix of good seat and good suspension, but you still feel the road easily, so you know you're going over what bumps, how heavy, etc. So it's a nice in between, it works in town. Let's see for agility in a jiffy. So here we are, the backwards test track. Let's see how this goes on these long bends. I'm going to cheat a bit and tell you, for the Portuguese video, I think it was in Portuguese, I don't quite recall the language I was using at the moment, only that it was bad language. Going very fast on this, say 110 and over, and leaning her over to the top, the front goes a bit wobbly. It's not dramatic, but you can see that it's going like this. Very slightly. The wheels aren't actually going anywhere, but you see that it's not really meant to do, it's not really built to do that. But I mean, I'm talking about going into a pretty aggressive lean at 110 or more while on full throttle. It's just not built for that. It's built for a bit a bit slower pace. It's not a sports bike, it's a scooter, okay? If you want that kind of performance, the T-Max is for you. But these tires are great, they just have so much grip and so confidence inspiring. It's tires plus suspension, because you lean a lot and you're always fine. Something scraped, and I think that was the center stand on the bump mid-corner. So mid-corner bumps, leaning right, and your center stand will scrape grounds. There it is, scraping again and again. And I'm doing this and I'm 100% comfortable. And Mitsubishi from Interrent, come on. It's a Space Star. Why call a car a Space Star if it doesn't have any space? Kinda like the Skoda, the Rapid Spaceback, which has no space in the back. Be something like calling the R6 Tourer version. Look at how smooth it just leans and stays. Again, that's wobbliness at high speed. It's at very high speeds. Well, for these corners, 100 and 110. It's not that much, but it is there. It's not something I have felt in, well, I'm going to say full motorcycles. Going to go, I think I'm going to start doing this run like this. First down for recon and then up and doing this little loop here, because this is a pretty road, ain't it? And usually has no traffic, so I can go at whatever pace I want. And there's sand over there, so it's a good mix of roads. Yeah, just the pace it keeps here. Ooh, I had to brake hard. The rear brake lever is pretty stiff. You have to press it, and then it just doesn't move a lot and it doesn't brake a lot. It is the rear brake. The front one, now let's check out what ABS is for. This is what ABS is for, so you can clamp onto the brakes here with no issues. The front one doesn't quite bite when you start pulling it, and then you need a bit of force to make it start biting, and when it starts biting, then it's a normal brake. I'm going to exemplify up ahead. Check this out. Then again, I am braking with only 2 fingers, as I'm used to, and actually 4 fingers for the other one. Just front brake. That's ABS for you. But now check it out. I'm fully braking. I'm just going to do my normal brake with this one, like this. This is what I usually do just to stop the bike when hello bug, when I'm stopped at a stoplight. So the bike is kind of stopped, but look what happens if I push forwards. It still moves. See? When the brakes are warmer, like it's now, it's fine. When they are cold, when I do my normal, let's just hold the bike in place stance, it just does this. You need a little bit more force than you would be expecting to make it just that initial bite. These two are a bit stiff. You need, it's not for ladies, you need to actually pull it with some force on the brakes. But it's a feature, it's not an actual issue. It's just the little things you'll notice when you ride this one for the first time. Then you'll get used to it and it'll be fine. I like the way this corners. It has a very Yamaha-ish cornering, very sporty. Look how much I can lean over and I'm perfectly fine, perfectly comfortable. And you guys know I don't overdo it. I only lean when I'm comfortable. That's why I don't scrape pegs. I get my knee out, but I don't get knee scrapes. The bikes aren't mine, and I cannot afford a crash at all. Hell, I can't even afford to fix my equipment if I crash. So I try not to crash. I do my best to show you what the bike can do, but I try to leave a bit on the table just in case something happens. And just look how much I'm leaning this one. I'm so comfortable. I'm very comfortable on this one. Okay, the engine going up doesn't have, I'm going full throttle, doesn't have all that spiffiness. It is only a 300, remember? It doesn't have 48 horsepower, doesn't feel like it. I would say this probably has around 30 horsepower or so. I don't know how much it has, I haven't seen it, but I would say 30-ish, around that. 35, less than 30, not likely. But 30, 32, 35, should be around that. It's not 48, and it's not 20, so I say 30. So it's not particularly speedy, but it is speedy enough. It's fine for your normal city riding. In fact, this is damn near perfect for your normal city riding. In fact, for what I use the bike daily, this would be just about perfect. Very low fuel consumption. I'm riding like an idiot, and the average so far is 4.1. The average previously was 3.2, which is a bit more normal riding, so that is what is going to use as fuel. Very frugal in terms of fuel, lots of space underneath, so you don't actually need a top case, but if I also clamp on a top case to this, I'll have all the room I'll ever need for my usual needs. And it's very agile, very practical, very simple to ride. It's one of those bikes that you just hop on and just go with no kind of issue, stoppage, or hesitance. You just hop on it, roll, and let's go. It's really easy. The floorboards, which I didn't actually like because this is too high and this is too bent in, I've noticed I end up going like this, and like this works fine. My heel goes here and my toes go here, and that works perfectly fine like this. It's actually the correct one. It just feels fine like this. So the floorboards actually work fine. If you want to go like this, it'll look silly, so you'll go with your feet out, and if you want to stretch your legs a bit, you can go up here, or you can go and sit near. Now you cannot go sit on the near because there's a hump. This hump between the seats prevents you from sitting on the pillion seat for relaxation on a bigger ride, but this will work fine on a bigger ride. The only nitpicking I might have is that the levers are very stiff, and when you're going really fast, say very highway speeds, when you lean over a lot, and I might show you a clip of the Portuguese video. 110, 120, 130, 140. It just goes like this, very slightly. It's like the front is wobbling a bit. The bike doesn't wobble itself, you're fine, but you can feel the handlebars going like this, which is odd. Okay, now let's go on to the city riding. So here we are, inner city. Well, not inner city, inner town, not city. This is a ridiculously steep downhill, just in case the camera doesn't pick it up, and I know it doesn't pick up. It's not flat by any chance. Now it's flattening out, and this guy goes too slow. Let's go quickly over. It's got just the right amount of power you need for some quick and town overtakes. Full throttle. Just enough to zip around town very quickly. Tuk tuk, tuk tuk. See what I mean? Just very agile, very fast, very quick to do whatever you want it to. It's that sometimes you pick up a 125, especially if you're used to a bigger one. And no helmet, that's smart. Sometimes you pick up a 125 when you're used to a bigger bike, just because you want to try out something lighter, and it just feels too light, too unstable, too always nervous and trying to go everywhere. You shift around in the seat and the bike just wobbles everywhere. This is not that. This keeps the agility, or most of it, but doesn't have that unnerving feel that the bike is going to be moving all the time. Again, it is that in-between. This is an in-between bike. It is that in-between. It's not by chance that the displacement is half of a 600cc, the normal middle class. This is a quarter class bike. It's in between the not riding license needing bikes and the normal middleweight class. It's that in between, and for that in between, it is very, very well designed. It's exactly that. In between weight between the 125 and the 600, in between power between the 125 and the 600, in between agility between the 125 and the 600, in between size between the 125 and the 600. It's not pretending to be a big bike with a small engine, and it's not pretending to be a small bike with a big engine. It is just that. It's the middle ground. This is the middle ground bike, and I quite adore it because, as I said, it would be an ideal bike for me. And I only got the Tracer because, well, the Tracer is more fun. That engine is a lot of fun, and I don't like the look of scooters. I just don't, sorry. It's just not for me. Because if not for those two factors, this would be the bike for me. I actually enjoy this one a lot. I actually honestly think that if I had one for me, I would actually love it quite a lot. It's just so nice. Not perfect, but just so nice. So comfortable, so just fast enough, so agile enough, just so everything is just enough. And it's so easy. That's the main part. It's just so easy to hop on and hop out and just go with no worries. It's an ideal bike to go to work and come back from work. It's just that. And so yeah, that's it. Kid, you're out. Okay, as a little bonus, the bends of Pisão. Overtaking here is always a bit iffy because the road is, well, not actually conducive to overtakes except in this little straight here. And see that warning? The pavement here is absolutely horrible. Oh, and it's dirty from the wind, so there's a lot of... Oh no, they've been clearing the woods here, so foliage on the ground, so no big leanovers. But let's talk about a bit on this bike while you guys enjoy this. This is actually a mental hospital, in case you don't know. What a great place to have a mental hospital, huh? Although isolated, it just has this nice... You can't smell it, obviously. This nice mountain air, very fresh, with all of the smell from the pine trees. It's an awesome place to just to be. So it's a great place to have a mental hospital. That's why I actually quite enjoy this road. But onwards, about the bike, which is what you guys are watching this video for. It's a great city runabout bike. It's a scooter, yes. It's a very sporty scooter. No, not very. It's a sporty scooter, not very sporty. A very sporty scooter is the T-Max. This is a bit more city. I can't do that. It's a scooter, you moron. It's more of... The balance is more between sport and city. It's a great city bike. I'm sure I haven't yet shown you the city part of it. But it's very agile, very easy to go in between cars because it's very thin. It's way thinner than it feels from behind the bike. And these two ears here, which are deflectors for the wind on your hands, give you the impression that the bike is way wider than it actually is. It fits just about everywhere. It's very thin. And it's very agile. It's very nice to be in town. On these twisties, as long as these are medium to slow speed twisties, it works awesomely well. It gives you a lot of confidence. There's a lot of grip from the suspension and tires, and you unconsciously just go whatever speed you want everywhere. The traction control, even though it's a 300, it's a bit silly to have traction control on the 300cc bike, but It does give you the ability to just roll throttle everywhere at whatever lean angle, and you know it's not going to slide anywhere. It's very intrusive. It keeps turning on whenever you go over any kind of small bump or anything that might just make the rear skid a little bit. It activates immediately. You only know it activates because you see the light blinking. You don't feel it's actually working. It's very, very aggressive in its activation, which is good considering these bikes are usually made for beginners. This makes it so it is a very, very safe bike. And look, the headlamps are always on. Oh, the high beam is the middle one. Cool. It's very visible from the front. It's a great little city run bike, and it's not a tiring bike. You know what I mean? You know when you get out of work really tired, and you're really, really, really tired, and you get to your big liter adventure bike that weighs 250 kilograms, and you look at it and you go, do I have to? Man, I am so tired. I really do not want to have to hop onto the bike. Come on, move it. I really do not want to have to hop onto this bike at this moment, but I have to because I have to get home. You know that feeling? This bike is not going to do that. That's exactly what this bike is not going to do. This is just hop on, roll throttle, and let's go home. It's fine, really. Why? Because it's 300 cc's, doesn't have too much power, so you don't have to be concentrated on your throttle. You can just mash it and it will just go like this. You don't have to focus on the throttle. You don't have to focus on cornering because it's so ridiculously light. You don't have to basically tire yourself with anything, either with bumps or I just made a mistake, this is not where I wanted to go, so I'm going to have to turn around. It's a very, very relaxed ride, and it's exactly what it's meant for. It's a scooter. It's to scoot around town for. And being a 300cc bike, having this tall windscreen, it will do highways fine. You will be able to go from here to another town just because. Let's go to the mountains and see, let's do a 300-kilometer trip. It's fine to do that. You might feel you could use a little bit more power if you want to go at illegal speeds on the highway, but nah, not really. Then you would buy a bigger one, but it's fine to do a big trip. Perfectly fine. It's a great little in between everything.